Well, I agree. We've seen rainfall events that were dramatic, but not that covered this big an area.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, this is area wide. We've seen rainfall totals 4, 5, 6, upwards of 20 inches.
It's incredible. You know what you said, though, for days leading up to this, while the track shifted east and there were changes throughout with regard to that, what has been consistent with Hurricane Sally since the beginning is that this was going to be prolonged, historic flooding, and we are watching that play out this morning.
We really are, and a lot of folks are living it, and it is not a pleasant thing to be in. So let's jump in and show you what all is going on, and we'll start off with Sally making landfall as a Category 2 hurricane along the Gulf Coast, 4:45 a.m. this morning. And Gulf Shores is the spot that I guess you win some sort of award. I don't know. 105 mile per hour winds, 965 millibars of pressure. So that's the official landfall of Sally. Are we done with Sally? Absolutely not. We have hours and hours of this storm left to go. A lot of folks haven't even seen the worst of what this has to bring yet. But at Gulf Shores, you probably have seen the worst weather you're going to experience. There's still going to be bad weather, but it probably won't be as bad as what you have already experienced. So take a deep breath, and you know, we keep telling you don't go outside. I know it's pretty much impossible for you to resist checking out to make sure that things aren't too terribly damaged, but be careful, get back inside right away, even though it may be an hour or two or more before the backside of this eye comes up. When it does get there, it comes up very quickly. All right, enough lecturing. Let me just get you through what's happening outside right now. In Fairhope, you are getting sideways rain. Same thing in Loxley. The winds have been upwards around 50, 60, 70 miles per hour, gusts up to 100 miles per hour or more in spots this morning. So these are substantial winds. You've seen the pictures, the rain just blowing sideways, the trees blowing sideways, in some cases blowing down, and we're getting a lot of reports of downed trees. So Fairhope, Loxley, Ferry Pass to Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, all right in the middle of things right now. We'll take you on a quick tour here and get in a little closer on some more of these communities. Daphne, it's on you now and has been for about the past 30 minutes. Loxley, Robertsdale, Elsinore, Summerdale, all in the middle of the northern part of this eye wall. The northern part of Sally's eye wall has been the most dangerous part throughout, and that's where it is right now. It's stretched over northern Baldwin County through Elsinore down to Beulah. Lillian is just finishing up with that part of Sally. You'll get a little brief break. Now, in Lillian, that eye is not going to last very long because you're at the eastern edge of it. Meantime, Haven Parks, Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, yeah, same thing. You are in that same band of really strong thunderstorms that surround the eye of Sally. It's the eye wall, the worst part of this storm, and it's moving through your neighborhood now. In this case, the winds are going to be coming up out of the south, so that also means it's pushing water onto the shoreline, and we have seen that. Well, you can look at the pictures there and see that water's been coming up on the shoreline and carrying boats with it, and refrigerators. I don't know why a refrigerator is floating across the street, but there it is. Look at the water on the roadways. Not that anybody is going to be out this time of the morning unless it's an emergency, but never drive through water like that covers the roadway. You've seen pictures already of people whose cars have gone head first into water that's so deep that they couldn't get out. So this is courtesy of the Cajun Navy. Thank you, folks, for those pictures, and I'm glad to see them here while I'm kind of walking you through this radar picture, because that's what you're experiencing. Baldwin County and the Florida Panhandle under a flood emergency this morning. Not a term that comes lightly to the National Weather Service. This is a real emergency, and it's a very dangerous one. And obviously, if you're on high ground and you're in your house, chances are you're going to be fine. All right, you know, there's the occasional tree that falls on a house, but generally you're going to be fine. It's if you are in a flood-prone area, if you are in real danger here and the water is rising rapidly and will continue to do so. Wait till you see the rivers that I'm going to be showing you in just a couple of minutes. Also, there are bands of rain beyond the eye wall that are feeding into the eye wall. This also has very heavy rain, maybe not quite as high a winds as you'll find in the eye wall, but certainly tropical storm force winds at the very least. So I would say probably 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds in bands like these. And this outer type of band is where you're likely to get spin-up tornadoes. Chief Meteorologist Ed Bloodsworth was just telling you about that a couple of minutes ago. And we have already seen a couple of those tornadoes this morning. You won't know they're coming unless we are able to tell you about it, because you can't hear them or see them. You can only find them on radar. So look, there's some folks doing something dumb. Anyway, here is the path of Sally. It's now on land. It's a little further along than this track shows. We'll get a new update in just a few minutes. But Sally is a slow mover, and it stays a slow mover coming through our neighborhood during the course of the day today. And by 1 o'clock this afternoon, still in the Northwest Florida Panhandle. 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's 5:40 in the morning now, and this system is already working its way through Pensacola. You're talking lunchtime. It's still not out of Santa Rosa and Escambia counties in Florida yet. And then finally, by tonight, middle of the night, it's gone from Conecuh County and Monroe County as a tropical storm and starting to move out of our neighborhood and eventually through Georgia and the Carolinas as, I'm sure, some kind of troublemaker for them. But for us, it has been a really scary night for a lot of people. So take a deep breath. You're going to get through this. Some of you already have seen the worst of the weather that you're going to see, and others, you're going to make it through this if you just use common sense. Battleship Park, the rain is pouring down, and let's check a couple of the other cameras. Same thing in ATMORE at Wind Creek Casino and Hotel. Just kind of a cool picture here. You can't really see that far, but you don't have to. The lights of the building are reflecting the rain on the camera lens. Pensacola International Airport has locked up, but I'm sure it's mighty wet there right now. And the wind gusts have been extraordinary. Take a look. I mean, this is right now. These are the current wind gusts from the official weather stations at these locations. Dauphin Island, 121 miles an hour. That's as high as I have seen. There may have been other gusts higher, but that's as high as I have seen. And 112 in Fort Morgan. Dauphin Island, Fort Morgan have been facing the brunt of the wind since early this morning. Even this morning you were getting hurricane force winds. So what happens is you get these sustained hurricane force winds, and things that could put up with that for maybe a couple of hours are not going to be dealing with that well after 10, 11, 12, 24 hours. Look at these, 66 at Mobile Airport, and in fact, a little while ago, it was 77. The Weather Service sent in a report saying they had just seen 77. 68 at Mobile downtown. Gulf Shores not reporting right now. Lots of tropical storm force winds throughout, and the wind gusts will continue through the day. Let's look at the big picture of things. Not as dramatic up here to the north. You got 29, 30 mile an hour wind gusts in spots. But later today, as the system continues a northward movement, you're going to see at least tropical storm force winds start to find their way into your neighborhood. As far as just the sustained winds, some tropical storm force winds as you get closer to the coast. The places that would have the 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds are not reporting right now. Tides will be, depending on where you are, these high tides are closer to the coastline in Pensacola and Pascagoula. It's a little further up Mobile Bay, but somewhere between 10 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Storm surge potential continues for Mobile Bay at 3 to 6 feet, 4 to 7 feet as you get closer to Bon Secour Bay, and then higher storm totals. In fact, it may go above this 4 to 6 feet around Pensacola just because of the way the wind is coming into those bays, Pensacola and East Bay right now. So Hurricane Sally, 105 mile per hour winds, moving very slowly to the northeast, 3 miles per hour. We have flood warnings up all over the place and flood emergencies for our coastal counties. The rain is falling at just incredible rates, over a foot of rain in most of our coastal counties from the Florida Panhandle through Baldwin County, including 19.1 inches at Gulf Shores. And there are other spots in here that may actually be higher than that. The rain is still going to be falling through the morning, so totals of 23, 4, 5 inches not out of the question. We're getting rain right now in Mobile at our tower on Broadcast Drive. The two-day rain totals elsewhere not as dramatic. And folks in Mississippi, you may have seen the worst of what you're going to see out of this storm right now. We're going to get more rain throughout these communities. But excessive rain is more likely the farther east you go, and that is going to bring rivers out of their banks in a huge way over the next couple of days. And I'm talking the Styx River, Bayou Sara, Perdido, let's see, the Blackwater, the Shoal, Murder Creek. All of those rivers are going to be way above banks through the weekend. For today, the focus is strictly Sally. Tomorrow, the skies begin to brighten a little bit, and by this weekend, sunshine and dry weather and an opportunity for a lot of folks to start cleaning up.